Hello everyone, Impact Wellness and Daria Tiesler. Once again, I hope you guys doing very well and all our podcasts are actually nourishing your body, your health and your performance. My guest today, Emily Unger, is very special, very amazing, 32 years old life transformation coach with a beautiful story of going around different countries, experiencing different things at different levels of mind, body and soul, as well as body transformation coach that looking at root causes of what's stopping you from achieving your desired body results, your weight loss results. We're going to have amazing conversation about female body optimization. So stay tuned, stay wired, because today is the day. Hello, Emily, and welcome to Impact Wellness Podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Me too. We have been talking about this podcast for a while now. I think, 6-7 months, and there is always something going on and probably always on my side, but finally we make it. So I'm so excited, and I'm so excited because we are having a great topic to discuss, and we know that there is lots of stigma about female weight loss, body composition, fat loss, and I was thinking that you are a great person to talk to because you just practical and you have lots of clinical experience and clinical application to share, and I think would be great conversation with you today. I hope you have the same opinion.
I do. I mean, this is why I've been waiting for this to happen. This podcast is well overdue.
Yes, 100%. Okay, so everyone stay in tune because we have so many great insights, lots of great stuff coming in. Don't switch off now, stay with us to the end. Emily, tell me a little bit more about you. What is your personal and professional journey?
Well, I feel my personal journey is that I feel like I've lived 100 years. There's been a lot of experiences in my life that has obviously brought me to where I am today, moving countries and continents 4 times, getting into fitness after actually pursuing a career in music. So there's a lot of life learnings that has brought me here in front of you today. As a person, I am very fiery, and I've been called a tomboy most of my life. We can have a discussion on that, whether or not that is a male energy or not, but I've always been competing with the boys, so I can see where that comes. Like, I used to play football, I used to play with the boys, I had 2 brothers, and so I had really high standards, and I was always actually comparing myself to men. And especially coming into this industry almost 10 years ago, I never looked to women for anything. It's only really later on where I found people like yourself who I really respect and want to learn from. And now we're here, and I think what we're going to talk about is that whole female thing, because I learned to channel my feminine side and actually feel like she is awesome, and she's really much part of why I'm successful today. I'm really excited just to delve into this.
Fantastic, and I do think you touching so important part of chakras, right? When we're talking about the energy, because fire is something what I also discussed with Louise. She used to be Olympic swimming athlete, and this is we met through a course of Diana Minik on food and spirit, and we connected on that fire. And I think many women, including myself, we're always pushing away this fire in us because we don't want to be perceived as we are achiever, as we are bossy, right? Because what someone else is going to think about us. But I remember when I was an athlete, that was not a problem. That was actually lifted up, and I was encouraged to be my best self. When I finished sport is when I started to see problem, because I was different than any other female, because I had goals, I had desires, I wanted to achieve something. So very interesting topic, and definitely we would be nice to discuss this, because I think many women living in that suppression between how to be female, but then how to be female who achieve, and then balance herself with female energy. How did you do that? What did you do to enable channel this male energy into female energy and ultimately get that optimum balance?
I think part of it is getting older, and you start to accept yourself and more of yourself. And I also think that when I showed my feminine side, I realized that I was super vulnerable. And I like to, that is really when you're the most vulnerable, that's where you have the most amount of growth. So I was surrounded by all of these high achieving men, and I didn't really feel like that was me, right? It's partly me because I was there for a reason, but there was a time when I just decided, like, look, I want to be all of me, and I want to be because I'm really emotional, I'm very sensitive, and I just decided that it's okay to feel all of these emotions and not try to always be strong, even though I now think that my vulnerability is my biggest strength, and why I connect with people and why people trust me and how I listen to people. But I used to think that that was my weakness because I was very sensitive, and I would cry to every movie. Like I'm that kind of sensitive, right? So I think it was just a matter of I'm tired to try to uphold something that I'm only partly, because I still am that strong fire. I'm an Aries as well, so I'm a fire Aries as well. So but just feeling like actually I don't want to be no one else. It's too much energy to try to please someone with who I think they want me to be. So I just decided that it's time to just be. And yeah.
Fantastic. And I think that's why we have this conversation, because both of us have a very similar view to what is actually female body optimization, and part of is tapping into who we are and fulfilling whatever we want in life. That's why we are working towards body optimization, so body is not stopping us, because we both believe the connection between mind, body, soul, spirit, heart, whatever you call it, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, good, Emily. What wellness means to you? It's an Impact Wellness podcast, so let's dig that. What is meaning for you? What does it mean?
So wellness is obviously a state of health. And when I look at health, it's looking into all areas of your life. It's your mental, your spiritual, your emotional, your actual physiological health, your reproductive health. It's kind of a state of health where you are looking to be as good as you can to optimize your wellness, where you actually then feel that you're congruent. And I think wellness is partly like living in congruency with who you are, and then making choices out of self-love, because you want to feel great, you want to be healthy, because you want to have a good life. So that's something that I usually speak to my female client. A lot of the time people choose things out of self-destruction because they're beating themselves up for something, or they don't think they're good enough, so that's why they need to change. Whereas I look at it like, why don't we do it from a place of self-love, where we go, actually, I deserve to feel this way, I can look however I want to, I just need to do it out of compassion and be okay with, I'm here now, and now I have the option to change. And I really think that when we start choosing things because we love, the journey, first of all, feels so much better because the energy is positive rather than negative. And yeah, so wellness for me is just this state of congruent feeling of, I do something for myself from self-love, and I do so because I want to feel as good as I possibly can, mentally, spiritually, financially, all of them. So
you're talking about self-acceptance in all what you're saying, right? So it's that moment when you have the desires and dreams, how you want to be, how you want to look, but is the question, can we really get there without accepting where we are? What is our starting point? What is your opinion about that?
we need to know where we are today, and that includes being super honest about, obviously, stats. You know, this is your body weight, this is how you look, this is potentially your body fat percentage, these are your health markers. You know, if you have high blood pressure, we need to know these things, because that is really who you are today. And then from there you can go on that journey, because if you don't know where you are, you don't really know what approach you need to change. You just know that you need to change, right? So I think it's very important to accept that, okay, I'm broken. And a lot of my growth came from accepting that shit, I am broken. I have so far that I need to go, and I might not 100% know what she looks like, but I know that this is not it. And I know that I can be better, and I know that I want to be better, and I know that I deserve to feel better. And from there you can start work on it.
Yes, exactly. You keep working, but then you've got that happy moment because you accept it. So we both know that this is a journey, and it's not going to take week, 2 weeks, 3 months, even sometimes 1 year is not enough. But when we accepting where we are in a present moment, we probably more peaceful, and we got giving ourselves time to arrive where we would like to arrive. And yesterday I was speaking with Caroline Welsh. She wrote a book, mindfulness, like that, mindfulness guide for female, and she used to work in a corporate law. And we also had that conversation, right? And she said it's important to pace yourself, and women usually try to multitask, do things quickly without acceptance, and giving yourself space. It's important, because we're talking female optimization, body optimization. What, in your opinion, does mean optimization of female body? What does it stand this for? How do you understand this?
So obviously, if we look at the word optimization, is to make something as good as possible. And I think what needs to happen is that we need to look both externally and internally. And a lot of the time we only focus on the external factors and think that these are going to be the solutions to the actual problems. And I mean, I send clients to you because I'm sometimes not skilled enough to help people in looking at their hormones and everything else, and like really helping them. So optimization is to really understand where I need to go to be healthy. And sometimes it is just to a PT, sometimes it is to a functional medicinist, sometimes it is to Western medicine as well. But it's about being okay with, I need help, and then finding that source that will help you, and actually to
Yes,
get you from your 1.0 to your 2.0 higher level.
yeah, and I think what you're saying, Emily, that being okay of accepting the help, because I think that is, at least from my experience, many higher female CEO business owners is like that hesitation, because I run big business, I must know this, I must know that. And then they are probably much more judging themselves and why they are underperforming at the body and health. But what is my opinion is just like another business. You building the body, you building the business, right? And or you building your relationship is exactly the same. Foundations are the same. You have to have them. And I think many women, and we both have very big sentiment to that age 30 up, because there is little done for them. And little optimization for them. So thank you so much for pointing this out, because that's so important. There's lots of misconceptions about female plus body, female and body, right? What, in your experience, are those misconceptions?
What, in terms of changing your body, or in terms of
anything, exactly, anything that you encounter, that, you know, women coming to you and say, I should be that way, but it's not that way, and you say, oh, because that's what newspapers said, that's what magazines said, but actually is that way, right? One of those is definitely looking at your internal and emotional side, and you mentioned this at the start.
Yeah, I mean, one thing is to accept that we are emotional beings, and that we have to also be okay with having emotions, and also learn to navigate your emotions. And I think a lot of people refuse the navigation of their emotions, or just to take it as feedback that something is happening. I mean, when I went on my journey stopping suppression of emotions, I learned so much about my behavior that I then could go in and change. Like, I used to be an emotional eater. Whenever I was emotional or stressed or felt inadequate, my first thought was chocolate. And when I had that realization, it's like, wow, now I know that I don't have a food problem, I have an emotional problem. And from there, I went on this journey where I could solve my eating issues, which was amazing. And I think I was only lucky to get to that place, but I was doing a lot of soul searching, and I was doing a lot of looking for answers for some higher level of purpose out there, because I was in a really bad place. So that is one thing, that we are not willing to experience our emotions. And therefore we turn to food or alcohol or drugs or whatever it is that people go for a vice, right? And what else? I think for women, the lack of patience and the need to prove themselves being worthy without being able to give that reassurance to themselves. And I'm obviously generalizing quite heavily here, but I do feel like women have a greater need to prove themselves, and that's obviously from conditioning, from being the inferior sex for so long, right? So there is a need to do better than men so that we can get the same amount of benefits, which I know that you felt it, I've definitely felt it, and yeah, that sucks.
Yeah,
again,
we agree on that. 100%.
we agree on that.
Yes.
So the need to always prove yourself to feel adequate, you know, and then not necessarily being able to give yourself that pat on the back and be like, actually, you're fucking amazing. Look at all the things that you can do. And like, looking at you being a mother, a business owner, you're helping so many people, you know, you're taking on way more than most men ever would. So I think the whole thing about just chilling and go, wow, I'm absolutely freaking amazing because I can do all of this. Yeah, that's what I want people to, if they hear this and that's them, I want them to go, wow, okay, actually I'm pretty amazing. And then also they're not being hard on themselves, because then and on the other side of that is we're trying to be then having the perfect body, and we're gonna always be young, and so there's a lot of pressure that is added on top of it, which, yeah, I mean, today social media filters and everything, it doesn't help us, right? But yeah,
I think that would be an answer of the question. What would you say to your younger self, or to girls that are 25, 18? Because we see trends which are probably not the healthiest one. And we, myself and yourself, we still belong to the society and to time when we did not have social media. We couldn't do filters, right? But this millennials and younger, they growing in this idea of big perfection, right? And I think that's so many younger women are going to be affected in the future. And I kind of can see this from my personal experience working with them, working with girls 18, 20, 25, 21, or having the same fear of appear not perfect on the social media. And definitely that's you need to find that sweet spot in this, because this is not bad stuff, it's how you are perceiving yourself. But as you said, working on emotions, and we have been conditioned, is just not easy. What about body image? You mentioned little bit body, like having the perfect body. What are any misconceptions around that comparison?
Yeah, I mean, one's body image, it's one's picture of what you need to look like. You know, my body image doesn't have to be your body image. It depends on what I believe is the perfect body, which we're looking at social media, we're looking at filters. You know, it's actually crazy how easy it is to look good today on picture.
Yes.
And it's scary. I don't even know what I would say to people younger, because it's hard to think, because we were given a time in our life where we never had this thing. But I guess we always compared ourselves. I had these Hello magazines, and you know, you still have them.
Yes.
But now it's every day, every hour, every minute, which then is it's just feeding into your subconscious mind what you should be looking at. And I think we just need to talk more about it. And I think we need to talk more about our struggles, like mental struggles with maybe body image, how we feel about our body, and then having that conversation, like getting more people to be very honest about their body, you know, and actually talking about it, and being way more, this is a filter, you know, maybe it needs to be printed everywhere, like this is a filter, this. So I don't really know, but yeah, body image, I think when you need to have a body image of yourself that is healthy, so that you can have that body. It's like what you believe about your body is kind of what you're aiming for. So having some surrealistic image of your body, it's never going to happen. So why not be a bit more realistic? And then also loving to love yourself in any shape or form. Still, I talked about this in another podcast about, I think still you should love yourself, even if you're a plus size girl, you should love yourself, but not because it's your body, it's because who you are intrinsically inside of that body, right? Then from there, looking at what is healthy, what is the gray area, because there isn't like the perfect health, the perfect body, like there isn't one size, there isn't just one metric. So being okay with loving yourself regardless, and then seeing, okay, but what does my health require of me so that I prevent disease? And I know that you and I talked about it, like the thing why we're here. So many women in their 30s are fucking themselves up with excessive dieting, excessive training, and their reproductive health is getting worse. And we're like reproductive health as a global thing, it's getting worse, right? So I know my mission is to try and help that, and also seeing now, working with a lot of women going into menopause and seeing how they actually really struggle because they were never hormonally stable from the start. Like that's why I'm here anyway, to try and make a positive change in that way. And I know this is why you and I resonate so much.
And maybe that is actually, you said that you wouldn't know what to say to younger girls, but maybe actually that is the message, because where you stabilize and you build your hormonal health is in your youth. This is where you are optimizing or using that metabolism that works very well. That's why you can go on kale diet and you're losing weight very quickly, right? Or you do 12 weeks, 6 weeks program and you again changing. But that can be misleading if you are not looking into further longevity of your results and why you want to make this happen, what makes you to wanting to care for your health. And I know that I'm asking a lot right now this younger generation of women to self-care and change the way they think, because this is not what you and me would do at this stage, right? I remember playing sports, I would be eating Mars and Snickers after every single training. Yes, after every single training, it was like obsession. Why? Because I never gained weight. I needed that energy. After 60 minutes running on the field was fine. But I know that my hormonal health and adrenals were just flat. I had to sleep with blood sugar dysregulation between 2-3 p.m. afternoon.
Yeah.
And I'm sure many of them experiencing this. Actually, I know they have trouble waking up in the morning. That is already sign there is some exhaustion at some stage happening. And then what they do, like you said, they going on diets, or they going on exercising, over exercising, lots of high intensity impact training, and we're going to discuss this in a few moments. And you know, I don't want to take this away from them, because I used to be like that, and I'm sure you were. We used to do jumps, we used to do crazy runs and crazy hits. Enjoy it. But today conversation, I hope, is going to bring awareness that, you know, keep thinking what is going to happen in 5 years, 6 years, 10 years. Because as you said, Emily, these menopausal women are results of what they've done 10, 15, 20 years ago, right?
Yeah. But also, it's well and good to do all the jumping and high intensity stuff as long as you nourish yourself along the way, which most people don't, because they complete to opposite polarization. We've got more training, less food, right? And then more caffeine, and I don't know what people even drink these days. But so that is the problem. It's okay to have a high activity as long as you're actually feeding that activity, right?
Yes, yes, very good point. Exactly, right? That's why maybe not kale dieting when you're trying to run 2 hours every single day. And I think that's what is generally the choice. And the thing is, you know, that we don't need to go cutting calories really that low. We can really go gradually and making nice small deficits over a long period of time that is going to bring us results if we are looking into calorie in and out. But then how fast we want to get this is another story. Emily, what is the reason women are afraid of lifting weights? Talk me through that. I just give you everything.
Yeah. Well, it goes back to maybe it wasn't looked upon as being feminine. And then the idea is that if you put on a lot of muscle, you're not feminine, and therefore you're not qualified as a worthy woman. And we all just want to find our prime male at some point. So I think it's and also maybe the pleasing inside of us of like, oh, but if I'm not then a good woman, then I'm not good enough. So it goes back to that, I'm not good enough. I think it's slowly changing, and that is thanks to social media, actually. So social media isn't all that bad. And yeah, but the big misconception is that they don't understand physiology and biochemistry and actually how hard it is for women to put on muscle. So the fear is that they will look like a man because they look at men that train and they can balloon up and get muscly. Whereas, I mean, you and I have trained for so long, and I've tried for so long to put on muscle, and it's just the slowest process. So the biggest misconception is that, you know, people have this idea of, oh, wow, I'm going to start growing a beard and look like a male, and therefore I'm not going to be considered sexy, right?
Yes, it's the concept of what is sexy mean,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. And exactly what you said, how we as a woman were conditioned as an object of looking, you know, skinny and, you know, sexy, and that's it, right? Where I also think, even from observation of my clients, of female that I used to work with or I work with, who lifts weights, they all empowered, they all strong mentally, physically, they much more confident about themselves. And just before we started, we talk about fear of appear in social media and keep sharing, keep talking, right? And we had a short conversation. But today we are here because training and this stupid muscles are actually wiring our nervous system and telling our brain go and do it. Because if you are able to push bench press, if you are able to drag the sled or do something else like that, you will be able to do those things because the mindset is just different.
Yeah. And also, in what better way can you prove yourself improving than seeing numbers going up when you lift? So, I mean, you probably feel the same way. Like, I thank my younger self from getting into training early, because she helped me become who I am today. I don't know if I would have been a confident woman today, because I was bullied. I was pretty, I wasn't very confident when I was younger. So, and now I am this powerful woman that I would like to call myself, and I really thank her for making that decision. And it came out of not feeling good enough and wanting to be pretty and wanting to be sexy, but it turned into something completely different. And this is why we stay in the game, because it conditions us to first of all come back and do it, dare to go at it again and not really giving up, and then seeing those micro progressions over the years, or sometimes in the beginning very quickly. That builds up your self-efficacy and your self-belief that you can do things, which transfers, and as you say, it's the nervous system. It transfers into, oh, but maybe I will go and start a business, maybe I will say yes to that date, maybe, so yeah. But there's no better way than to have a gym or even training at home and seeing, this I couldn't do yesterday, today I did it. And you do that. This I couldn't do yesterday, today I did it. And you build yourself up as a human.
Yes, and both of us agreed, I believe that you agree, that it's about balancing our training as well, because it's male and female, and weightlifting is very male part of who we are, where, let's say, dance, yoga, Pilates is a very female, open type of activity. And I always said, listen, it's not just now I'm telling you just do weights only. It's maybe consider to adding this into part of your routine. And I do believe that this is the reason why so many women just share with me your opinion and what is your experience. Weight training address so many hormonal issues. I've seen so many women just getting better on their menstrual cycle, more regular, easier to get it, not that strong, regulated one, just because they're doing weight training.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have the same observation, Emily?
Yeah, 100%. I've worked with quite a few women who've had PCOS, and I mean, it's combined with good nutritional practices, but the training does something to the body, right? It helps you regulate your insulins, and it helps you deal with like food better. It helps you sleep better. So it has this effect on your entire life that improves things. And it's so important. But the way I look at training as well, it is longevity. I know that one day I will go through menopause, and after that my bones will start to deteriorate, and I will have be prone to things I don't want to experience. So on the days where I don't really feel like doing it, I can vision myself as an old lady and go, actually, she deserves to have the best age, right? To feel independent, to feel strong, to not need things, to not break her bone just because she fell over. So sometimes I really think that we should be present all the time, but I think we should be considerate of the future, because what we do today isn't about today. Like the session I do today has nothing to do with today. It's for the next year or the next 10 years. So that's how I see it anyway.
Definitely, I agree with you. Health is activity or practice that we have to think of what is going to bring for us in the future. It's not just the present, because sometimes you need few weeks, you need few months to see the change. It's not like you go into hairdresser and you see shape, right? Maybe that is the reason also so many women dropping at very early stage, because as you mentioned, change male body, from my experience, I have seen many female bodies in 14 years, it's much harder. Yes, they are women who, you get 12 weeks and I'm sure you got it, boom, is done, right? But probably majority of women is much more estrogen driven than testosterone driven, right? In a good way, not like in a PCOS, when PCOS is kind of higher testosterone and insulin, cortisol, but this estrogen is just not going to help us, right?
No. So yeah, so it obviously there is still, I think it's getting better, the misconceptions of training. I think so. And I hope that it only keeps getting better, and that it's maybe more also encouraged. It is a very male like vibe in there, right? So if you are more of a really like feminine female, it's going to be intimidating. And that's probably one of the conversations we've had with many women. It's like, but I don't dare to do anything in there. It's in that free weight section where I don't want to go. So I think if we can make a environment where it feels more at home for women, where they feel safe, because it's a matter of safety, right? And also, if you are a small woman and you're walking into this testosterone fueled sweaty room, yeah, it's going to be intimidating. And then if you don't know what you're doing, of course it's going to be something that you're going to avoid doing. So yeah.
What would be Emily, your uplifting advice here for women who listen our conversation and say, okay, I'm buying this, I love what they're talking about, from tomorrow I am going to start a gym session? What would be your advice? What she's supposed to do?
She's supposed to find someone that makes her feel safe in the approach that she will be taking herself through. If someone doesn't know, if this is someone who's never had the experience of the gym or dieting or anything, you are doing yourself the best investment by hiring someone who will take care of you, because you can do it on your own and completely, first of all, waste a lot of years, literally, or again, you start reading things and then you see the 1200 calories, the perfect thing. It's like, ooh, all of this HIIT session, everyday hits, and twice a day training maybe. So I really think that finding someone who you connect with and trust, it's super important, because then also whenever you do feel insecure, you have someone there to come and actually talk to. Because I believe that the way I work with people now, it's very much personal development at the same time. It is life optimization, including obviously body transformation to get you healthy and where you feel that you enjoy living in your body. But it has to be that mental growth of I'm here and I'm moving towards feeling more safe, more confident. So yeah, having someone is huge.
Yeah, I think it's important that we beginning to see that going into Google or going into magazine is not going to be the same as hiring someone. And I think I agree with you. You can save yourself so many years of disappointment, to be honest, loss of the hope, even at the end, even if you get someone for a few weeks, few months, just to teach you, to be with you there when is needed. I think that's very valid, and I hope those one who wants to go into the gym are going to listen. That amazing advice. Emily, we're talking lots about misconception. We talk about misconception about female body, but what are the misconceptions about weight loss, specifically for female above 30?
Okay, so I think the biggest misconceptions for women entering their 30s is one, that they believe that they need to go on excessive diets and that some diets only work and that they can't do certain things to get a result. And that only feeds into this already conditioned belief system of food is bad or food is good. Something that we need to learn and work with is really working on someone's relationship to food. And of course, that comes from lack of knowledge. So if we can learn to educate people a little bit better about food and why it's more beneficial to eat certain foods than other foods, then you will be more empowered to make those decisions, rather than making decisions out of fear, or because you don't know any better, or again, you're not in tune with your emotions, so then you go for the foods that will calm your emotions. And I guess, again, going into the whole thing about misconception, training is one of those things that is going to give you a better hormonal panel. It's going to give you longevity and independence later on. So again, taking that misconception and going, right, my belief system about something, it doesn't have to stop me from doing something. And if I can learn to work with my belief system and actually believe, it's all about belief systems. Like, what do we believe is true? And we only navigate our life from how we believe it's true. And I guess, again, going into the whole thing about misconceptions, the need to feel to be perfect, to be good, right? You don't need to be perfect all the time to get results. You don't need to be perfect in any way or form to be happy. And I really think that the whole thing about perfectionism, it's such a recurring thing in in life, in running business, in running relationships, and everything should be perfect. Again, maybe down to the rise of social media, where we now only see the good sides. But yeah, you don't have to be perfect. And actually, I think that life is beautiful in those imperfective moments, right?
Is that acceptance, and I did not drive a little bit deeper when you were talking about accepting even our body is not yet with that optimized composition, right? And I think there is lots of discussion about women who are very overweight, and they telling that's healthy, right? And I remember with Umar Malik, I was discussing that little bit. This was at that time we were recording when Cosmopolitan posted that article, and it's very thin line there. But what I love, what you said, Emily, is that it's not about the body, but it's about who is inside that body. And then it doesn't matter, in my opinion, if you are that percent or that percent on that shape. However, we need to be conscious that being very overweight has health consequence. And I am probably, not everyone may like, will be on side that we need to find, I will be very politically correct here, balance with doing something about this. We cannot encourage that this is okay, because that is not okay. And we need to find ways to talk to those women in this politically correct way. However, sometimes maybe very direct way, that, you know, love yourself and the beauty inside you, but maybe trying to do something around this will just help you. Because we, at the end, ultimately, you and me, try and make these women feel better, so they can conquer, they can open business, they can have children, they can have better relationships. Because at the end of the day, it's not about that body optimization, but it's about what this gives you.
Yeah, I think, first of all, if we take blood tests, they don't lie. So starting to get very clear, like, what you believe doesn't have to be the truth. So if we were to take blood tests on people and actually go like, look, these are the consequences of your lifestyle. And then what I do believe, and this is because my mom's partner, he's a bit overweight, so he's quite overweight, and he is in this gray zone. He's got like metabolic syndrome pretty much. And so he is now in this gray area where he's not yet sick according to Western standards, but he's not healthy. And I do think that if we also had way stricter you know, this is actually going out of line. Look at these numbers, look at these facts about what your biology is actually telling you, then we can actually start to bring in more urgency to change. Because I do believe that Western medicine only obviously patches up, whereas you and I try to prevent people from getting there in the first place. And if there was a system that would go, right, you're heading in the wrong direction, these are the consequences, this is what you're facing, is this what you want to face, then people will then be, oh, actually, I don't want to live like that. I want to live until I'm old. I want to have kids. And also, people don't know what good feels like until they feel good, because we're so adaptive by nature, the human being, that we are okay with not being okay because it's what we know. So, but you and I both have had clients where we go, wow, I feel so much better. I have so much more energy. I wake up feeling fresh. My skin is amazing. There's so many things that you don't know until you know what good feels like. And then you go, wow, how good can I feel? Can I feel even better than this? And that's the empowering thing of going, actually, we can take you from feeling okay, because to your standards it's good. But if you felt what better felt like, you can then want to be in a great place.
I think that's that discussion here at this point helped me really to transition our conversation into coaching, right? Because you and me believe that coaching is very huge component, very important component of this conversation about the body, goals, why do I want to go there and that. And I think many women just come and ask, I want to lose weight, right? But once you ask more questions, they really don't understand what is underneath. And my question here around coaching would be how women can go away or support themselves or resolve, if it's possible, this self-destructive talks around the way they look, they are, they be, right? What do you know about this? What could trigger that? There any tips, techniques that you would share?
The thing that keeps people in the state of self-destructive thoughts, it's that they want to do something but don't have the courage to do it for whatever reason, or they have tried something in the past and it didn't work out. And if you can prove to yourself that you are capable of changing, because you are capable of changing, yes, you might need help because you don't know how to do it properly, or you've tried some things and they didn't work for you, then just know that there are answers to everyone's problem out there. Like, it's not impossible for anyone to do anything. So I do believe that we need the courage to dare to push ourselves. And I do think that if we're also talking about to the younger listeners, maybe our parents didn't do a good job in always telling us it's okay, it's okay. It's, you know, sometimes we can't just cuddle people and go, oh no, you're good. Like, no, sometimes you need to go, you can do better, right? And saying it's okay for you to fail, because I think that's the thing. I don't know, I don't have kids, but I heard that here in kindergarten now, everyone gets the star when they run a race, because no one can be the best. And it's kind of like, yeah, of course people can be better, and of course people can be worse, and we need to just learn to accept failure. That's it. Like, people are scared of failing, and that's what's holding them back from achieving. So if you can go, I'm willing to do this without the certainty of getting what I want yet, then you're committed. And it is a commitment thing. Like, am I willing to stay in the game until I solve this problem?
Yes, and especially great point, because as we pointed at the start, weight loss journey is not just a body optimization journey from different perspective, is not just straight line. And I don't know why I talk to women, right? we are thinking that all is linear. It's not. You're going to have ups and downs, but you make so important point, Emily, that we must to accept uncertainty. That maybe for the first 6-7 weeks there is no change. Just only one change is going to happen, that you're going to maybe have a little bit more energy in the morning. Maybe you're going to have, I don't know, gently nicer tone skin. Maybe your digestion is going to be working better, but there is no change in size, no change that you're wearing different clothing. And I think so important question to ask yourself. What are, let's say, 3 questions that, again, simple. Tomorrow, women listening our podcast wakes up and she says to herself, I really want to jump into this journey. I don't know where to start. What should I ask myself?
This is how I would frame it. A lot of people enter the race looking for surface level solutions, which is the next training program, the next diet fad. And they're missing the point of they need to go back and rebuild the house that their roof is going to stand on. We need to look at your habits, your routines, your morning rituals, your evening rituals, you know, the quality of your sleep, and actually start to go back and rebuild that foundation. Because the problem isn't the diet. The diet is a scientific thing. You're in a caloric deficit, you're progressively overloading, you get stronger, you lose body fat. Like, that is really a science, but it's the everything else around it that is more important. So we need to go back and reconstruct and rebuild that foundation, and then working on the limiting beliefs, the limiting mindset about what is and what isn't possible. Because I do think that a lot of women don't believe that it's possible because they haven't yet got it. They might have tried so many times. So every time they try something, the next stupid fad, they're just feeding into their belief system that nothing is going to work for them. And they're wasting the one thing that they never get back, which is time. And that causes more pain. And pain causes us to look for more surface level solutions because we want it quickly, because we keep wasting time, and because I'm not there yet. So in order for you to really create a long-term sustainable change, we have to go back and look at the foundation. And from there, entering the race of body composition, it is a science and it takes time. And that's it. Of course, easy to say, not easy in practicality. There is a lot that goes into it. But if people can enter the race and go, I'm willing to have patience, I'm going to look at my habits, I'm going to look at how I talk about food, about myself, about everything, and then I will go into this game with the commitment to become better without trying to be perfect, and with the commitment to search for the problem that I need to solve so that I can become that 2.0 level.
So we agree that if you are jumping tomorrow in this journey, you first go in and you search for a professional who is going to help you, but you are not doing this 3 months before your wedding. 3 months or 2 months before your holiday. You're doing this 6 months, 8 months, 1 year. You're not doing this change before 1 month before you're planning a baby. That is another big topic, right? How women are entering unprepared into that window when they're trying to conceive, right? And I think a good conversation for the future. But we definitely agree. You need to give yourself time. Don't rush. And
I just think
Emily?
you need to reconnect to why and what is the ultimate goal. Because the ultimate goal isn't abs. The ultimate goal is to feel great in my body. Of course, abs can be there, but the goal isn't the abs. The goal is to feel good and to have energy, to have sex drive, to be able to have kids, to be able to do whatever you want and have the confidence. So I think connecting to the why and going, that person I want, right? Body, mind, soul.
Yes, and personalization of goals, as you said. What is important to me? Why do I want this? Why me? Why this way? Why that way? Because then comes this comparison. Oh, I want this because my neighbor, my friend, or whatever jumped into that program. And then where disappointment comes because this is different story. This is different drive. This is different mindset. And we have to tap into who we are, as we discussed at the start. Emily, you talked about morning routine. What is your morning routine?
My morning routine is pretty crap, to be honest.
Very honest. When I wrote this question, I said, shit, what I would answer for this question today, right?
Yeah.
Where I'm now mom is completely different than when I was like 2 years ago.
Yeah. I like my morning routine because what I do, I actually wake up on my own around 5:30. Like I don't remember the last time I had to put an alarm clock on, because I naturally am in a place where I just wake up feeling good. So that is awesome. That was not the case a few years ago. And then right now I just returned to Sweden. So I'm living with my mom and her partner. So me and her partner, we sit and have coffee in the morning and we just talk and just wake up naturally without feeling stressed. And then I get to work. I usually go and I train, but I try to take some time just for me. So yeah, I obviously eat breakfast, drink water, like, you know, those things, but I don't have a routine like I used to when I lived on my own, or when I had literally my own space only.
Really, you know, that's so important what you're saying, because again comes acceptance here of the situation, comes adaptation, does not come, I have to be perfect. Even what I think we all love right now, and where we are embracing with your answer is, like I said, our imperfection. And that you said is shit. And that's okay, right? And you, the fitness professional and health professional, you know, body composition, mind and soul, you know, optimization expert, right? And you would say, okay, I'm going to talk to those women, I should be perfect. But no, that is the answer. And you are, I'm talking to you, anyone who listens, are going to have these shit moments. And we just have to be okay with them.
And I think it's not, if we're looking at things in isolation, you can say, well, that's shit. But then if we're looking at a day as a whole, we're now looking at how do I feel the day as a whole. So 80% of my day is proactive. It's good. What I would consider being the professional who speaks, who walks the talk, or talks the walk, walks the talk. Yeah. So again, it's not about being perfect. It's about also having behavioral flexibility and go, right, I'm in a place where maybe people are going visiting in-laws. Well, maybe you need to eat food that isn't perfect for a week, and that's okay. But yes, you can still go out for that walk. You can still go and take some me time. You don't have to only obey to other people's rules. You have to still create some level of structure within yourself. Because I know if I don't go for my walk, I don't feel like I'm a nice person. So there's certain thing I have to do for me to feel good. Now, having the perfect morning right now isn't the thing that needs to happen for me to feel good. And that's how I operate my entire life. Is like, how do I make myself feel good so that I can be the best person, so I can serve people better? And of course, me having the best morning ritual with a meditation and a little dong and a little, you know, incense or whatever, that would have been amazing. But in reality, I treasure the time that I have with my mom's partner. He's been in my life since I was 12, so he's like a dad to me. So I treasure that more than to go and have my me time, because yeah, I love people. Like, I love conversation, and that gives me more. So it doesn't have to be perfect.
And that's what Caroline Welsh also would say, based on last conversation I had last evening. I was actually recording, and she said, because my question to her was, what is that mindfulness? How we have to understand this? And she said, mindfulness is what we do right now. is conversation. So it's not only food is going to nourish us, not only exercise are going to change our body, but probably that conversation you've got in a loving environment, I believe it's much more empowering and fulfilling than maybe being on your own and eating breakfast by yourself. There is time and place for everything, right?
Yeah. And if we go back to the word wellness, I think it's huge. And maybe not everyone loves people as much as I do and like having conversation and being connected to people, but I think people do, especially now that it has been a pandemic and people have been very awakened to what loneliness might feel like. So I just know that time is limited, and I want to try and treasure that because I know my mind is spinning all day. I get to work and I do give my time and energy to everyone else. So I really try to, when I don't do that, to be present, because that's the way you energize yourself. Because I'm expending energy. Obviously, I love what I do, but it's an expenditure. I give. And at some point, you've given so much, even though you love what you do, you don't love it anymore, or you don't feel good doing it because you gave, and you never just came back to now and took a little bit.
Yes, that's why I remember every Friday was for me. I wouldn't go for party when I was in London or clubbing and things like that. As you said, you give an energy and you need to nourish it back yourself. That's why self-care, it's so important, and many women need to. Yesterday Caroline said, I'm sharing this because I told Caroline that tomorrow I'm doing a podcast with Emily, and it's so naturally flowing and linking because we kind of oscillating between those two topics. And she said that scientifically 15 minutes is how much time per day we should be giving ourselves as a self-care. 15 minutes. Science does not say if it's 15 minutes, 1 minute every hour, or 2 minutes every hour, just 15 minutes. And I know how many women, when I ask them, give yourself 15 minutes, they will say, I can't. Right? And I really, really ask you to do that 15 minutes. Emily, how do you nourish yourself?
Through having conversations like this, it gives me so much. Like my greatest sense of like life joy is connection. So in a way, that is me nourishing myself. I will walk away and I will feel really fulfilled after this, you know. But obviously, eating good food, having a good salad every day. When you haven't had good food after a while, if you've gotten into a place where you eat well and then you stop eating well, you feel the difference. Now I can really appreciate if you haven't got into the place of eating well, you don't know. But then I need to, I eat cabbage every day. Cabbage is my one thing that I love so much.
I love it, cabbage as well.
It's like, it's love on a plate. It makes me happy. I feel like it makes me happy. And I was so picky as a child. And I didn't grow up in a family where we ate a lot of vegetables. And there's something that I had to learn over the years. And I think it's just amazing. First of all, you can learn to like anything because I'm the living proof. I used to be so picky. And now actually, I always say there's nothing I don't love. I love every food. And I think if you can just look at the food and be so grateful for what it does to you, if you understand it, of course. But if you get a little bit of knowledge and you see this is the thing that will make me feel good. Food is, I'm a foodie, but food and a walk outside, training, of course. But I'm not excessively obsessed about training anymore as I used to be. When lockdown happened over December, January, I exercised like 3 times. Because I realized for me, it's the connection to the gym that drives me. I love how I feel after I train. Obviously, everyone does. But I don't have that obsessive relationship to anything anymore, which is a good thing. Now I do it because I love how it makes me feel, not because I feel like I have to do it. And that's the difference that makes the difference. The same with the eating well. I do it because how it makes me feel, not because I have to. I can go and eat crap if I want to, but I do it because I want to feel good. And because, again, I love myself deeply.
And I think so valid stuff you're saying, specifically if female wants to focus on weight loss, refocus, change your perception, change objective of what you want. As you said, you don't train because you have to, you train because makes you feel better. And that is changing the mindset. You much more geared to start instead of give up, right? Instead focusing on scale every single day, focus on, next year, 2 years time, 3 years time.
But also, human by nature don't like to be told what to do and be confined by laws. So if you take away, I'm going to take a sip of water.
Yes, so. Please go. Yes. I had the same yesterday and I said, oh my goodness, I need to bring water. Lots of good connection, lots of, I explain here a little bit, ladies, we just expressing our truth, and thyroid is that organ of truth and authenticity. It's a connection with our heart. That's why yesterday I probably have this and today Emily, right? Because we are speaking the truth. And that's what women are suppressed with speaking, with expressing, right? So if you have some itch here, ask yourself question, I am authentic self, I am speaking enough of truth.
Yeah. No, but if you take away and you change that perception of like, I have limited choices, all of a sudden you feel empowered to do a good choice. It's my thyroid.
No worries, just get more water if it's needed.
No, it's good. I think the laugh did it. But it is, it changes everything, because if we feel confined, we don't want to do things. And if we feel restricted, we feel like we have to. So by knowing that I can choose to eat, I can choose to train, I can do so because it's an empowered choice, because no one is forcing me. I'm not bound to do anything. And by default, it's going to feel much better to make that choice. But I also just think people, and this is tough love for many, you need to take some responsibility for yourself and do the right thing. And sometimes doing the right thing isn't the thing that feels good in the moment. It's the thing that feels good long term. And again, we're so conditioned by instant gratification because of all of these apps that we have forgotten what it's like to wait for something good.
Yes, 100%. So,
yeah, tough love, but it's like, don't cut yourself so short because it's not now.
Yes, and it's what sometimes you have to wait, right? You just have to wait and don't rebel what is coming in front of you. Much more embrace and be brave to accept. Resonate with me, because I have few clients, female clients, right, who would be, I say this, they do this, always is opposite, right? And then when deeper conversation comes, I don't like when someone tells me stuff, and probably that is the reason you are in this position, right? So it's always try to find those root causes, because not always is food, not always is lack of exercise. Sometimes is just that other thing that you probably never thought about. Yeah. Emily, is there anything else that is coming to your beautiful mind, right, and clever brain? Is there anything that you would like to share with our female audience?
Yeah, I think that every woman deserves to feel free in her body and in her mind. And I think a lot of people feel trapped in their belief system of what is right and wrong and how they should be or shouldn't be. And I feel especially women, we have this ideal that's been given, it's been given to us through generations. And I wish that people can be more free. And I mean, I just launched my program, and it's PFF, powerful, fun, and free, because it is how I want people to feel, because there is ways to live that way. And I really think that when you are free, you're more creative, you have more fun, and the thing is, life is going to end one day. And if you waste your time feeling rubbish all the time, and the what ifs, and then not daring to do the change or not daring to get the help, you're wasting it. And I really think that life is so wonderful. Life is amazing if you make it amazing. But it is, as I said, like, it's the tough love. It's like you have to take the responsibility and create that change, and be willing to take that delayed gratification path and be okay with, I'm not there right now, but I know that I'm working towards it. And that itself, I mean, it's a beautiful gift to yourself. And I think people just miss that thing of, actually, everything that I do now, the hard work, is because it's a gift. I'm giving myself the best gift ever. And yeah, so I just think everyone deserves to feel amazing and free. And I think when we are more free in ourselves, and like lack judgment, we stop projecting judgment, and then therefore we're going to have better relationships, we're going to have better conversations. There's going to be less polarization in the world as a whole, because we are not placing our judgments everywhere, and we're not taking offense, because we are free, we're accepting, we love life as it is, the good and the bad, and to see that the bad is necessary for you to actually become that person who you really want to be. So I mean, I would not take away any of the shit that I've gone through in my entire life, and it's quite a long list actually. I wouldn't take it away, because without it, I would not have this. I wouldn't be this person. I wouldn't know what I want. I wouldn't know what I don't want. So if we can just go and be grateful for everything, man, life is good.
Yes, because you have to have something that you can reflect back on. And if all the time things going well, you actually don't appreciate for what you had, right?
Yeah.
And I'm similar as you, and I had very difficult last few years. There is one thing definitely I would like that hadn't happened, but it happened. It's definitely impacted who I am today. And as you said, just embrace it, accepting, and continue moving on and being a better person. How can we find you, Emily?
Best would probably be on Instagram. I think that's where I'm the most active.
What is the name?
Emily Anger.
Emily Anger. Fantastic. Guys, yes, if you want to go into Emily Anger, check her Instagram, look around her program, Power, Fun, and
Free.
Power, Fun, and Free.
Powerful, fun, and free.
Powerful, fun, and free. Fantastic. And I would love to end here. Emily, thank you so much for all these beautiful insights. Thank you so much for joining, for sharing with all females your insights, because I believe more insights the better. And I believe in a perspective of different people, different trainers, different practitioners, because we work with different customers. And there is a practitioner for everyone. One works better with you, one works better with me, one works better with someone else. And I would encourage you ladies who listen to go and search. Don't stuck with one practitioner. Don't stuck with one personal trainer. Empower yourself. Be this advocate. If you feel inside you that things don't work with you well, go and change. Go and search, because this is how we grow. Would you have the same opinion, Emily?
Yeah, 100%. And I think if anyone who listens who are professional, to just embrace that we can build this beautiful network where we can help each other. Like, I know I send you clients because I cannot help them as good as you can sometimes. So I just think that we need to drop our egos as professionals as well, so that we can actually do the thing that we came to do in the first place, which is just to help people.
Yes, I think you're making a great point, because I don't feel sometimes in this health and fitness industry we enough supporting, referring, connecting. We're thinking that we can do all by ourselves, and not really. It's not about us, it's about person that comes to get better and get our help. So thank you so much. Next time, guys, we're going to have amazing podcast again with some form psychology and brain development and anything that is related to neuroscience and psychology again. And definitely I will be asking again stuff around female thinking, female limits, how to overcome and how to push things forward with anything you wish in life. Thank you so much, Emily. Once again, thank you, and enjoy the rest of your evening, morning, wherever you are in the world.